We be live, I think. Let me know in the live chat if you have my audio. I see D in the live chat. I see Secular Rarity in the live chat. I see Susanna in the live chat. I see Music Guy. I see Pink Music. Pink Music is saying he's obsessed with being alpha. Yeah, what is up with that? It's so cringe. Daniel Haqiqatjou has recently been very obsessed with like, I'm alpha, you're not alpha, you're beta. Like, oh god. Oh god. Anyways, let's look at this. So what we're doing today, let me see, guys. Tell me I have audio, right? Audio is good. Thank you, Susanna. Yeah, so today I saw that Daniel Haqiqatjou on his channel, he's making YouTube shorts. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Because I always don't know if we're gonna have enough time to review longer videos. And every time we review like a 10-minute video, it takes like an hour or two to just review 10-minute videos. So we don't get to like review multiple videos. I haven't seen most of these. I think I've seen like one or two of these shorts, but I haven't seen most of them. Right. So let's check them together and see what Daniel has to say. They look short and sweet. Short and sweet. Audio is great. Thank you. Soha. All right, I'm gonna play just a little bit of this, and you guys tell me if you have the audio for it.
Individual.
Do you hear him say individual? Let me actually full screen this. Did you guys hear that? Let me see if anybody says. All right, we're just gonna play.
Is Islam against individual rights, liberty, equality? No, these are things that Islam actually values very highly. Islam just says that things need to be in a balance. The problem with liberalism and modern human rights discourse is that these values are taken to the extreme. And the problem when you take these things to an extreme, they end up destroying family, end up destroying marriages, end up destroying community, and even all of society and the human race itself. This is why you have to have balance.
So this is completely ridiculous because there is absolutely liberalism is completely in contradiction to people who consider themselves anarchists, right? Like if you not even just anarchists, like even just like progressive leftists, like look at the way he's talking about liberals believe in law and order. They believe in the limit of they include limitations in what is right, like what is should be lawful, just because. So here's what he's doing, right? Islam is a fascistic ideology with a very limited freedom on the individual and on society. And liberalism in comparison to Islam, honestly, like most things in comparison to Islam, allow you more freedom. Like if you have an Islamic government, the freedom that you enjoy, the individual freedom that you enjoy, is going to be much less than many other modern ideologies. So now he's taking this difference that a lot of people who are leaving Islam are noticing and are not happy with, and he's acting like liberalism means no limitations to your personal freedom, like everything goes. That is not the case. There are limitations. The balance that he's like, there needs to be a balance. Well, guess what? There is a balance. Liberalism has managed to achieve that balance way more than Islam. You are at the extreme you are on the extreme fascistic side, okay? So you don't know the balance. Liberalism is right in the sweet spot, and then you have the anarchists who are on the other extreme. So you're like, oh, they're the extreme. No, you are the extreme. You are the extreme on one end. You're like one of the fascists. You have the anarchists have no law and order on another side. They're also extremists, right? Liberalism is the balance.
And if you don't have balance, you end up with this kind of extreme.
Yeah, Okay, yeah, we have to have balance. We have to have balance. Move away from, that's why, like as AP say, stay away from Islam, because you guys are the extreme. You're on the extreme fascistic side.
Balance. And if you don't have balance, you end up with this kind of extremism.
Yeah, Susanna in the live chat is saying, how long until Armin starts simping for modernity again? I am always simping for modernity. It's my de facto state.
That poses a threat to humanity. Islam is the only religion that is standing up against this kind of liberal onslaught. And we need to recognize the contribution of Islam to preserving humanity in this way. You're quoting Augustine.
Yeah. So that was the first short. Let's look at this other short. Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, guys, don't make fun of his looks. That's not fair. That's not nice. Look at this. This isn't somebody in the live chat saying liberalism allows freedom for whites. That's complete nonsense, guys. Just because some people who are liberals are not, guys, are you going to criticize the people who are like racist, or are you going to criticize the ideology? Are you going to criticize the values? Or, for example, when it comes to Islam, right, we look at what the scripture is teaching, what the hadith is teaching, and we examine that and analyze that and judge that independently from the people who claim to be Muslim, right, or are Muslim. So Daniel Haqiqatjou knows that. Like, he himself understands that it's like these are two different things, right? Like, what Muslims believe and do is not necessarily always what is right in Islam. Like many Muslims understand that, whether they are fundamentalists who think like the Muslims are too liberal, or Muslims who are more liberal and they think like the fundamentalist Muslims are not representing true Islam. They understand the difference between the ideology and what people do. But all of a sudden, when it comes to liberalism, they don't understand anymore, right? Daniel Haqiqatjou doesn't understand anymore. He all of a sudden like, oh, look at these liberals. They did this, they did this. Like, oh, look at these neocons. Look at the people who commit like war crimes here and that. And like, okay, bad. Those people are doing bad, evil things. What has that got to do with criticizing liberalism? What does this got to do with criticizing Enlightenment ideals and values, right? Like, if somebody, like a lot of, for example, founding fathers of the United States, right? They owned slaves. And yet they were the defenders and cheerleaders of a lot of the Enlightenment values, which was in direct contradiction with owning slaves, right? So does that mean that we're not going to highlight the fact that they own slaves? No, we're not going to shy away from that. We're going to mention it. Yes, obviously, these are like the people like us who believe in Enlightenment values and believe in modernity. We don't have saints and prophets. We recognize that the people who are responsible for these ideas spreading were not perfect. In fact, far from it. We're not like religious people who want to have to the people who spread the ideas that eventually made the world a better place. We don't ever claim that they were like they were good people. I mean, we owe them the fact that these ideas were spread. But like, for example, one of the main people that we celebrate for spreading Enlightenment ideas was Voltaire, right? Voltaire was an anti-Semite. He was sexist against women. He hated atheism. And yet we recognize his contribution in spreading Enlightenment values because we're not religious. We don't worship these people. We don't have to claim that they're flawless. And we don't have to claim like that the people who are use the brand liberalism, that they're all perfect, that they're not racist, they don't do horrible things. The ideas that we're promoting are still good ideas, that if the people who correctly abide by them, the people who are the societies that have those values, we have empirically shown that these values creates more prosperous societies. That is objectively true. Empirical evidence shows that. History shows that. Yeah, this is somebody saying frozen audio, frozen video. That's a you problem. Other people are not having this issue. Wait, is it? Is anybody else having this issue? No, nobody else is having that issue.
But he's also justifying that in his books.
And what I'm saying is, if you look at what Jesus said, you don't get the idea that you're supposed to go around killing heretics.
Wait, what was this topic about? I completely missed the second short.
You're quoting Augustine, but he's also justifying that in his books.
And what I'm saying is, if you look at what Jesus said, you don't get the idea that you're supposed to go around killing heretics.
He said, when you render unto Caesar.
This is actually very interesting because a lot of Christians, they keep jumping. A lot of Christians like David Wood, they say like when they want to show something, like when Augustine or Thomas Aquinas or other people, other Christian thinkers, when they said something that agrees with their philosophy, right? They go look at these like Christian thinkers, and they'll be like, look, Christianity is responsible for these ideas. And then all of a sudden, when you show that the Christian thinkers have said things that disagrees with their philosophy, all of a sudden we're like, well, they're not Jesus. I only refer to Jesus. Like, okay, then if you refer to Jesus, then why are you taking credit for the influence of Christianity, of Jesus's ideas on things, on other people, other thinkers, when they agree with you? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, hey, Jesus is responsible for, I don't know, civilized Western society and Enlightenment values and liberalism and modernity or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because look, this thinker was a Christian and he thought like this. And this Christian thinker thought like this. This shows that Christianity had a positive influence and was responsible for many good things. And then we were like, well, this Christian thinker over here thinks that you should, like, I don't know, torture people and like burn heretics and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, they're not Jesus. You have to go to see what Jesus said to understand what Christianity is. Like, okay, then what happened just a half a second ago? Half a second ago, you were celebrating Christian thinkers and celebrating the influence of Christianity on their views. You can't have it both ways. Because when I go back to Jesus, when I go back to the New Testament, none of the liberal ideas, none of the things that are actually responsible for modernity and the values, none of that can be found in the New Testament. It's such a pathetic stretch to actually try to make it seem like New Testament is responsible for modernity. It's amazing. It's also amazing because after 17 and 1800 years of Christianity being a force for evil, being a force for holding back progress, all of a sudden a whole bunch of people showed up and fought back against organized religion, and things got better. This is like all the Enlightenment values and all the progress that you saw was done by people who were actively against Christianity. And then you saw a lot of progress in Europe, and you're like, oh yeah, this is because of Christian values. It's happening in Christian countries. Sure, buddy, sure.
What is Caesar's? That is an endorsement of that government, which was killing heretics, that's the tradition that you're citing, right? With Constantine.
That government, what heretics was the Roman government?
Jesus Christ, he was crucified, right? According to.
Oh my God. Okay, this I have to hand to. This one I have to hand to Daniel Haqiqatjou.
No, you're a little confused. You're a little confused as to.
What do you mean? Are you confused? Like the Romans were the people.
That's what I'm saying. Jesus did you forget that Jesus was being persecuted?
Jesus is talking.
Okay, this is this clipped out of context, because this is such a huge point for Daniel Haqiqatjou. Okay, so let me get this straight. Okay, so maybe he's saying that. So under Daniel Haqiqatjou's perspective, Jesus would agree with Muhammad over the fact that he is ruling, like he's involved with politics, he's bringing an Islamic society, If Jesus didn't do that, it's not because what Muhammad is doing is wrong, it's because that was not Jesus's role. Like if Jesus was given a role to all of a sudden, like if it was in God's plan to put Jesus in the position that he would rule, he would be doing the things that Muhammad was doing. So this is, I think, like the Islam, like Daniel. Again, if I'm misrepresenting him, it's not on purpose. Okay, this is just my understanding of what he would think. That it was just not Jesus's place. It's not like Jesus was peaceful and Muhammad was like a brutal warlord. It's that Jesus had one role and Muhammad had a different role, and Jesus would never disagree with what Muhammad did. Okay, so you have in the New Testament that no, you have to stay away from politics, and Jesus had said, just give unto Caesar what is like Caesar's, right? Like basically, we're not here to challenge Caesar's authority, right? And yeah, we should just stay away from politics, like. And he's saying that, is it like, I think what Daniel Haqiqatjou, correct me if I'm wrong, what Daniel Haqiqatjou is claiming here is that really what you want to believe? Because again, people like Muslims believe that what you have in the New Testament is a corrupted version of the original scripture that God had sent to the Christians. So if Christians believe in the New Testament, it's not necessarily what God wanted to believe. They changed it, they corrupted it, right? So what he's being said here is that, I think what I'm understanding is that Daniel Haqiqatjou is saying that it's ridiculous to believe that Jesus would agree that you would give taxes to Caesar, given that he was his oppressor, right? Am I understanding this correctly, guys? In the live chat, let me know if I'm understanding anything about this. Understanding this correctly. One more time.
Is if you look at what Jesus said, you don't get the idea that you're supposed to go around killing heretics. Again,
he said, when you render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. That is an endorsement of that government, which was killing heretics.
I'm not understanding what Daniel's point is here. Is he saying that's correct or incorrect? Oh, he said, oh, wait a minute. So he's saying that according to your New Testament, Jesus is endorsing a government that does kill heretics, even though he didn't endorse killing heretics. I mean, technically, Jesus didn't endorse killing heretics, but he did endorse burning them alive for eternity. So there's that. He did that in Revelations. So there's that. I mean, sure, like maybe not in this world, but in the next one. So he's saying that actually Jesus does endorse killing heretics, not directly, but by endorsing a government that kills heretics. I think that's a stretch by Daniel Haqiqatjou. That's a huge stretch. Okay, if you say like, okay, this is a huge. Okay, here's a comeback to Daniel Haqiqatjou. Let me know if what I'm saying would be comparable to what Daniel is saying. Okay, maybe I'm being unfair. Okay, Daniel is an American citizen. Okay, he lives in the U.S. He pays taxes. Does that mean that he's endorsing the U.S. government? That he agrees? Like, he must agree that, I think he agrees that if you live in the United States, you shouldn't be like evading tax. Ooh, can I say that on YouTube? That you should like be paying your taxes. Like, I think like he agrees with that. He wouldn't go and tell Muslims to like, oh yeah, U.S. government is bad, don't pay your taxes. So given that Daniel Haqiqatjou, I think, would say that you should pay your taxes while you're living in the United States, does that mean Daniel Haqiqatjou is endorsing all the policies of the United States? Okay, let me see.
The idea that you're supposed to go around
listen to this.
Killing heretics. Again.
So he's saying that, okay, so David Will is saying that you shouldn't, Jesus didn't say go kill heretics, but then
he said, when you render unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
So render unto Caesar what is Caesar. So pay Caesar his due. Okay, so pay your taxes, right?
That is an endorsement of that government, which was
Is it an endorsement of that government? Daniel, so are you endorsing the US government by paying your taxes? Are you endorsing Daniel Haqiqatjou? Are you endorsing the US government by paying your taxes? I don't think that's an endorsement.
killing.
Yadi is saying yes, it was a tax saying didn't Jesus get coins from a fish? I don't know. Dolly is saying I'm a bit confused about what Daniel is referring to. Well, that's what I just clarified it. AJ is saying the Romans were smart. For every nation they conquered, they allowed them to keep living as they were living, believing in whatever gods, as long as they were loyal to Rome and paid their taxes. AJ, that depends, right? Like when you're talking about the Romans, the policy of the Romans really changed from one emperor to another one, and it also depends on how, like for example, if you look at the history of different people that lived under the Romans, it really depended on how rebellious they were or weren't, and what they needed. Like you can't like come up with a blanket statement over like this was. We're talking a very long period of time. Policies changed. Oh, look at this. You're right. D is saying is jizya an endorsement of Islam? Good point. D, good point. Secular Rarity is saying, I think the taxing analogy is pretty good. This is why there are some people who have publicly refused to pay taxes in the US, like during the Vietnam War. Yeah, but not everybody that pays their taxes is endorsing the government, just like I don't think Daniel is.
Heretics killing. That's the tradition that you're citing, right? With Constantine.
That government. What?
Okay, so that I think my comeback was better. Like I said that, yeah, Jesus said pay your taxes. That doesn't mean he endorses the Romans, but then David Wood comes back here and says like, who were they prosecuting? Like what? They were Romans. What are you talking about?
Heretics was the Roman government.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like he's like, they don't kill heretics. Yes, they did. Yes, they did kill heretics, David Wood. How do you not know this? I don't understand. Of course they killed heretics. And yeah, like he's like, Jesus Christ was the exact. Yeah, did you forget your own God? Like, did you forget that your God was crucified? Like he just like that's a huge this is a really bad look for David Wood here, I think. Right? It's a really bad look. Like it's such a gut you. Like he just gifted such a gut you to Daniel. He's like who they're persecuting, and then he mentions your God's name, and you just look like dumbfounded. God damn, that's such a bad look.
What heretics was the Roman government?
Jesus Christ, he was crucified.
Like this is such a win for Daniel. Is this not like? Am I like? Oh my God! Like may I? Is like Daniel is like, may I introduce to you Jesus Christ? Have you heard of this man? Oh God!
Crucified, right? According to.
Oh my God! That is such. Oh no! I'm getting secondhand embarrassment from David Wood. Oh no! Oh no! That is painful. That is painful. Like, have you heard of Jesus, David Wood? Oh no! Oh my God! That is
no. You're a little confused. You're a little confused.
So here's another thing. When you say, "Oh, you're a little confused," this means that I don't know what to say. I'm buying time. I'm trying to think of something to say.
Confused as to what I'm saying.
Jesus did you forget that Jesus was being persecuted?
Jesus is talking about.
Oh no! That was like again. The response should have been what I said. Like David Wood should have been like, "Yeah," he said, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's," or whatever it's whatever the exact wording is. That doesn't mean he's endorsing them.
A lot of Muslims are depressed now.
Wait, what happened? Muslims are depressed? Why?
A lot of Muslims are depressed nowadays because of all of the criticism of Islam online on social media, and they don't see other religions being criticized.
Okay, I don't know how he's gonna respond to this. Okay, if I was Daniel Haqiqatjou and I was dealing with Muslims who are depressed with other people criticizing Islam, this is how I would respond. I would say, if I was Daniel Haqiqatjou, I would say, do you think this is really tough? Do you know the first Muslims in Mecca? Do you know what they had to deal with? Do you know the amount of attack and persecution and threats that they had to deal with? Do you know Bilal was tortured under the sun with stones on his chest because he became a Muslim? That's the level of like you're upset about people criticizing Islam. Imagine having to deal with the Quraysh. Imagine being just like right now we have an ummah. We have a giant worldwide Muslim community. Imagine being a Muslim back then in Mecca, where there's just a handful of Muslims who are under so much attack, physical attack, not people like criticizing Islam or making fun of Islam. No, physically attacking Muslims, torturing them under constant threat, making their lives so difficult. Imagine living like that. Okay, so don't be upset about people criticizing Islam. Or if you don't want to go back then, think about the Muslims in China, right? Think about the Muslims in China. Like, think about how much more. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't be complaining. People should get. You don't have to be the worst off to be able to complain. People can still complain, okay? But I'm just saying, like, if I'm trying to lift somebody up and be like, this is fine, it's okay, don't worry about it. I mean, do worry about it, but don't be like too upset about it, right? Think about what Muslims in China have to deal with, right? Just for being Muslim, right? So this is what I would say. And like secular rarity is saying, LOL, I'm imagining a young Muslim boy waking up really excited in the morning, going online, seeing one comment saying something critical of Islam and crying his eyes out. Ah, don't cry out. Oh. Okay, guys, if you don't like seeing people being critical of Islam, if that really bothers you, if that really messes up with you, you don't have to watch content that you don't like. I don't understand. Like, nobody is forcing you. Just go away, watch another video, look at something else. Like, I don't understand, like, why is this upsetting? So nobody's forcing these content on you.
To the same extent. But there's a reason for this. Islam is an open book. It's very easy to understand. Its theology is very clear. Its books, the Quran, Hadith.
He went the other way around. He's like, you should be happy. You should be happy that they're attacking Islam. It's because we are better. That's why they're attacking us. We're just the best. This is just a sign that we're so good. If we weren't the best, they wouldn't be attacking us. Hold on.
And its theology
We're number one.
Is very clear. Its books, the Quran, Hadith, are very accessible and easy to understand. This makes it an easy target, whereas other religions are much more convoluted.
Oh no, never mind. No, that's what he's saying that because the books are so clear. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Islam is like, if you read the Hadith in Islam, when you read about Aisha washing right, semen off of Muhammad's clothes, right? When you read a hadith about that, it's very clear. There's no vague. You can see the story of Aisha. It was like, this is actually in the hadith if you don't know, right? This is actually Sahih hadith, okay? Aisha complained, like Aisha says that in the hadith that she keeps washing semen off of Muhammad's clothes, and she keeps getting more semen on his clothes. Like no matter how much she washes semen off of Muhammad's clothes, they don't wash up. Okay, like there's always more semen. It's just like she's tired of all the semen that she has to deal with and wash up. Okay, this scripture, this Islamic hadith, is very clear. Like there's no ambiguity. We know what's happening, right? Or if you have like another hadith about monkey stoning, right? Like we have a hadith, Sahih hadith again, where there were a couple of monkeys. This is Islamic scripture, guys, by the way. I'm not making this up. Go look this up. A bunch of monkeys were stoning another female. Was it a female monkey? Yeah, I think it was a female monkey. They were stoning her for committing adultery. for adultery. Monkeys were stoning another monkey, stoning her because she had committed adultery, as if like there's legal Islamic marriage in monkeys. I don't know how, as a monkey, how do you not commit adultery? Like, do you have like marriages in monkey community in them? I don't understand how that works. But again, this is Islamic scripture, and it's very clear. There's no ambiguity. You can see what is being said here. So what Daniel Haqiqatjou is saying is, it's not the ridiculousness of nature of this hadith. It's not the fact that these hadiths are so bizarre and stupid. It's not that makes them an easy target. It's the clarity. The clarity of the Islamic scripture, that's what makes it an easy target. Not the fact that it's moronic, not the fact that it's insane, not the fact that it's barbaric, not the fact that it's anti-human, anti-woman, anti-progress, anti-science, not the fact that against everything that makes society a better place. That's not what makes Islam an easy target. It's the clarity that makes it an easy target. Oh yeah, secularity. We also have Islamic scripture, again, Sahih Islamic scripture, right? Again, this is authentic Islamic scripture. You could go about Moses beating up a rock because the rock stole Moses' clothes. Okay, this is Sahih Bukhari. This is Islamic scripture. Again, very easy target, because if you read the story, there's no ambiguity. There was a rock that stole Moses' clothes. No ambiguity. The fact that it's clear makes it an easy target. We're not attacking Islam because that's ridiculous. We're not attacking Islam because it's ridiculous for a rock to steal someone's clothes. No, that's not why we're attacking it. We're attacking it because we can read what's being said. It's clear. Amazing.
Texts are not accessible or understandable. Their theology is sometimes,
Wait.
other religions are much more convoluted. Their texts are
Oh,
not.
other religions are more convoluted. No, Daniel. Other religions have also very clear texts that we also attack. Like just Qasim is saying, the tree who didn't have fruit. Yeah, exactly. In the New Testament, Jesus cursed the goddamn tree because it didn't have fruit, like a sane person does, right? Like you say, you go to a tree, you want fruit, it doesn't have it. What does a normal person do? Curses the tree, curses the goddamn tree. Okay, just like a normal sane person, Jesus cursed the tree. We're criticizing the New Testament because, well, not because it's insane to curse a tree, but because that part is clear. Okay, Jesus is like, oh, if you see somebody like a woman and you get horny, okay, you're like, oh my God, she's hot. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to gouge your eye out. That's what Jesus, like a normal sane person, is telling you, to take out your eye, like pull it out of your eye socket, pull it out, okay? Because it's better for you to lose that eye than having that eye be like worm food in hell. That's what Jesus said. Like a normal person, like sane person, no, obviously normal, very peaceful, very kind, very peaceful, okay? Not an insane figure at all. And he's like, oh, Islam is very clear. Other religions are not. That's why we attack Islam and not attack Christianity. Wrong, Daniel. We attack Islam, Christianity, Hinduism. They're all pretty clear, and they're all ridiculous, extremely ridiculous.
Not accessible or understandable. Their theology is sometimes so complex, it's inscrutable. So people.
So they're saying the theology, I think what he's referring to, for example, when he says like Christian theology is so like, what is it? What are the words that he's using?
Their theology is sometimes so complex, it's
complex. Okay, so they're like, they make fun of Christianity for theological reasons. They're saying like, oh, Jesus is the son of God. Oh, God could have a child, but Jesus is also God. Jesus is the son of God, but also God. God is one, but God is also three at the same time. Oh yeah, sure, but like they make fun, like this is like so complex, so ambiguous, makes no sense, your theology. Okay, but it's very interesting, because when we ask about things in Islam that don't make sense, they're saying like, the standard Islamic response to it is, oh, it's too complex for us to understand. It's just beyond human comprehension. God, how dare you, mere mortal, even pretend to be able to understand something as grand as Allah, right? So, for example, when we say, how does it make sense for Allah to be all kind and all merciful, and yet burn for eternity people for the mere crime of not believing in his scripture, but just the audacity to question his existence is enough to torture somebody eternally with fire? How could you say somebody is infinitely kind and infinitely merciful while torturing the people who just simply don't believe in him? How is that not a contradiction? They're like, well, you don't understand. You would never understand. This is just something that Allah gets. You're a human. You have human brain. You don't get it. Okay? So they do the same thing. They're like, it's complex. It's complex. Like they did with their theology. You don't get it. For example, another thing in Islamic theology, right? That is complex. Apparently, human minds are not able to understand. They're like, God has determined everything. Everything has been determined. God knows what's going to happen. Every single subatomic particle, what's going to happen to it, has been fully determined. Okay? But you have free will. What? Sorry, excuse me? Huh? Everything has been determined. Everything has been determined. And we have free will. How? Do you understand how free will works? Do you not see what the contradiction is? Are you serious? Are you serious? And also, you're going to get punished. God has predetermined that you're going to be an infidel and you will pay for it. He's going to burn you alive forever for something that he's predetermined. Why? And he's just. And he's supposed to be infinitely just. And you have free will. These are contradictions. These do not make any sense. Explain. There is no explanation. This is beyond your human comprehension. You would not be able to understand. God, with his infinite wisdom, understand? You would not understand. That is the answer. That is the official answer. So don't tell me that your theology is clear and not complex, unlike Christians with their, Oh, here's another thing that Muslims themselves had their first Inquisition over. Okay? You're like, oh, our theology is like the other religious theology is complex. Ours is clear and simple to understand. Really? What was the first Islamic Inquisition about? Do you guys know? What was the first Islamic Inquisition about? Wasn't it between the Mu'tazilites and everybody and the traditionalists? What was in it? Was it not the fact that Mu'tazilites were kind of correct? That you cannot have a divine entity such as Quran and still maintain the concept of Tawheed in Islam? Again, this is not an attack by non-Muslims. This was an internal fight within the world of Islam. Some people what is the most important theological concept in Islam? What is the single most important concept that everything in Islam surrounds, is based upon? What is it? Come on, you guys know it. Tawheed. Yes, Susanna is the first person got it. Good job, Susanna is like, oh my God. Imam Susanna got it. Okay, so we have no other concept is more important in Islam than the idea of Tawheed, the oneness of God. The oneness of God. This is what Islam was invented to separate itself from branches of Christianity. In fact, Islam itself was probably a Christian cult that was trying to separate itself from other Christian branches of Christianity because it didn't accept Jesus as the Son of God. Okay, that's like a hypothesis out there, right? But again, we're not going to go into that. Anyways, Islam was a brand of ideology that wanted to separate itself from other religions because it focused on the oneness of God more than any other ideology. There's nothing else more important in Islam. So much so that the sin of shirk is its own category. It's beyond sin. It's the worst thing you could do is shirk in Islam. which means having partners with God, because there is no partner with God. There's only one divine entity. It's not three divine entities. You don't have one main divine entity and other smaller divine entities. You only have one divinity, belongs to Allah. There's nothing else divine other than Allah. Okay? However, the most important concept in Islam, which is Tawheed, which is the oneness of God, gets challenged by the idea of Quran being a divine thing. Right? This is why the fight between Mu'tazilites and everyone else was whether the Quran was the created word of Allah or the uncreated word of Allah. If it's the uncreated word of Allah, that means it existed at all times, independent of time and space, forever. Before it even was like, you know how in the Quran, Muhammad got horny, like when Muhammad gets horny with someone else's wife, and then there's a verse comes down that it's okay, don't worry, you could marry her. God allows you to do, like, go divorce, make that woman divorce. You know, it's okay that person is your adopted son. There is no such thing as adoption. He's not really your son, so they could get divorced and you could marry her because God really wants Muhammad to get his dick wet when he gets horny. Okay, so Allah really cares about Muhammad's horny thoughts, so some verses get sent down to make sure that Muhammad gets his dick wet. And the thing is that we Muslims believe that this verse did not just come down in response to a specific situation. No, God, the idea of Muhammad getting his dick wet existed throughout all time, independent of time and space in heaven. Like, this is something so metaphysical, so independent from anything material. This Quran verse existed. It's in the fabric of the universe. Muhammad getting the opportunity to get his dick wet with the woman that he got lusted over exists within the fabric of the universe. It's just like that verse existed from independent from space and time, right? So the people who are saying that the Quran is independent from space and time and is the uncreated word of God, the Mu'tazilites were like, what are you doing? You can't say that. Now we have two divine entities. We have Allah as a divine entity, and we have the Quran as a divine entity. You just destroy Tawheed. You cannot destroy Tawheed. We have to have Tawheed, right? And they got erased from history, right? We got the first Islamic Inquisition, and the Mu'tazilite lost, and they were wiped out of history. And now the understanding in Islam is that the Quran, the words of Quran, is the uncreated word of Allah, means that God didn't create them. They always existed with Allah. So now we have two divine entities, and this is an apparent contradiction. I'm not saying that. Muslims themselves were saying that. This is an apparent contradiction in Islam. You have Tawheed, and you also have Quran and Allah at the same time being divine, right? All right, let's continue. So yes, don't tell me that, oh, it's very clear. It's not. There you have your own laundry bag that you have to deal with.
Inscrutable target, whereas other religions are much more convoluted. Their texts are not accessible or understandable.
The texts are not understandable, says the person with the religion, with the language that 80% of Muslims don't understand. Okay, and even the people of the Muslims who do speak Arabic, it's the kind of Arabic that people don't speak anymore. So what is it like? Are these, like, again, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, you can't criticize the Quran because you are not versed in Arabic, especially the traditional Arabic of the Quran. Okay, and you actually do speak Arabic? Well, you're not a scholar. You don't have a PhD in Islamic theology, so how dare you criticize the Islam and the Quran? And then yet they say, well, no, it's accessible. He's saying, no, it's accessible to everyone. Wait, I thought I need like 20 degrees to be able to say something, just criticize Islam, even just like a tiny bit. And we're like, hey, this verse doesn't seem right. Well, where's your PhD, Armin? Where's your Islamic theology PhD? How dare you? Who are you? Where's your Islamic studies? No, you can't say that. If you want to accept Islam, guys, here's how it works, okay? If you want to become a Muslim, then you don't need to know anything. You just need to be like, Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hey, Good. You Muslim. Muslim. Alhamdulillah. Oh my God. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the Ummah. Do you understand anything about Islam at all? No, just these. Only what I said. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, the rest is just like, they just is like, we could work with the rest later. But you're a Muslim now, okay? But now I leave Islam. I want to leave Islam because it doesn't make any sense. Well, you need 20 PhDs. You need to be able to be an expert in Islamic studies and classical Arabic. And if you say anything negative about Islam, it's just because you're not an expert. Okay, so which is it? Okay, so is it accessible, Daniel Haqiqatjou, or is it not accessible? If it's accessible, then if it's easy to understand, then all our criticisms are fair. If it's not accessible, if it's not easy to understand, then you better expect anybody who wants to become a Muslim to go through like years of Islamic studies before you accept their conversion.
Theology is sometimes so complex it makes it an easy target, whereas other religions are much more convoluted. Their texts are not accessible or understandable. Their theology is sometimes so complex it's inscrutable. So people are not in a position to easily criticize those religions because of how difficult they are to understand or wrap your mind around. But Islam is clear, and the truth is clear and straightforward. And that's why we see so many people entering Islam, whereas there's barely any people converting to these other religions in this day and age. So don't be depressed.
Yeah, but because people are leaving religion. He's right. Don't be depressed because people are converting to these other religions. Be depressed because don't be depressed, but your main concern should be that people are leaving religion altogether. Okay, see, this is a very clever trick, Daniel. If you want to compare people converting to other religions versus people converting to Islam, sure, you come on top. But guess what? We are winning. The atheists are winning, because when it comes to people leaving religion as a whole, then we come on top. Who's the Chad now?
Do you have to be in love
Let me see.
before getting...
Oh yeah, you're right. D is like, he shouldn't be saying entering. He should be saying reverting back to Islam. Yeah, D knows her Islam more than Daniel Haqiqatjou. no, no, guys, stop. No. Don't do that. Don't be a Daniel with this whole chat thing.
Getting married? Do you have to be in love before getting married? No, that's rubbish. How does that even make sense?
What?
Especially if you're doing things in a halal Islamic way, you don't have the opportunity to really deeply know someone and interact with someone before marriage. So how can you possibly be in love with them before you get married?
Wait, what? This is like a mask off? What is this? What's going on? Like, wasn't he the one who said that we liberals are against love and they are on the side of love and family bonds and all that?
In reality,
but now he's saying the opposite. He's like, screw love. Who needs love? Wait, are you anti-love? Is this an anti-love video? Wow.
love grows over time in a marriage that's based on respect,
Oh,
loyalty, mercy, generosity, self-sacrifice, and most importantly, the proper gender roles between husband.
Oh my God, this is so destructive. He's saying that, oh my God, you should just marry people who you're expected to marry, even if you don't love them. This is kind of like he's just going full Stockholm. Like you will fall. Dear ladies, you will fall in love with your abductor at some point. Okay, just give into it. Just accept this part. Okay, just let it happen. Just let it happen. This is horrible at the beginning. There's like loveless. He's selling you loveless marriages. He's like, yes, Islam endorses loveless marriages. People getting, women having to deal with people who they do not like, but just don't complain. Just let it happen. Just accept your abductor, and the love will come later. Wow.
Husband and wife. If you mercy, generosity,
Mercy.
self-sacrifice, and most importantly, the process
Wait, what?
over time in a marriage that's based on respect, loyalty, mercy, generosity.
Wait, why do you need? Yeah, exactly, Puya. Why do you need mercy in a marriage? It's like, is this about wife beating? Oh yeah, again, you people are saying I'm beating. Yes, yes, your husband will beat you until you are like accept his. Oh my god, I don't want to joke about that. BDSM love. Yes, yes. You must have your safe words.
Generosity, self-sacrifice, and most importantly, the proper gender roles between husband and wife. If you practice these values in your marriage, then true love, deep love will grow over time.
Guys, do I even need to criticize this? Do you not see how our way is so much superior to their way? They're like, you will just accept, like, how do you know? Like, love is something very unique. You're not just going to automatically fall in love with somebody just because you're living with them and you abide by certain rules. Love is not like, you cannot just force love on somebody just because like you're having a marriage with them, and you have certain principles that you're abiding by. Like, it's very special for you to fall in love with somebody and for them to fall in love with you. It just, you can't force it into happening, right? That's why you have to fall in love before you get married. Like, you cannot, again, so you are living loveless marriages and you're just trying to make it happen. You're trying to create love, like, you out of thin air. Like, you don't have control over who you fall in love with and who falls in love with you. That's why when it happens, that's when you want to start a relationship with them after you fall in love with them. I mean, start a long-term relationship with them. Like, does this man not understand how love works? You cannot make it happen. If somebody doesn't love you, you can't force them. You can't be like, if we do this and this and this, they will eventually love you. No, it doesn't work like that. It never works like that. Unless you're talking about the Stockholm Syndrome, which is very fitting because women married to Muslim men is, at least in Daniel's version of Islam, are captives. Yeah, he's referring to the Stockholm. This is the Stockholm Syndrome. He's relying on the Stockholm Syndrome. He's like, dear, my Muslim brothers, and your captives will eventually fall in love with you. Well, it doesn't. Hey, the Stockholm Syndrome doesn't happen all the time, Daniel. If that's what you're hoping for, guys. Like, do I even need to like? There again. Do I really need to make an argument for why our ways are better? Like, they are hoping that you capture a woman, you marry them, you marry her. Like, marry by mean like owning, right? And you don't love each other, but he's like promising you that it will happen. First of all, how irresponsible of making that promise. Like, you're talking about people's lives. They're going to be stuck with somebody that they don't like for the rest of their life, right? And you're making a promise that you don't know if it's true or not. I can guarantee you that this is not true. This is not going to happen. Not always, not most of the time. But like, are you going to like accept this? Like, ruin your life like this, hoping that love will come? Isn't our way so much better that you first see love, you first establish that we love each other before you get married or start a long-term relationship? Yes, people are saying it's the Stockholm Syndrome. Yes. Gender roles. He's referring to arranged marriage. Yeah, basically love. Yeah, arranged marriage is loveless marriage. That's what I'm saying. It's loveless marriages. If the man isn't happy, he can marry another, but the woman just has to deal with it. Yeah. Our ways are so better. Here's the thing. And if like our ways is like you're in love with somebody, you started a relationship with them. If you're not, you end the relationship. It's so much simple, guys. Hey, Daniel, our way is so much more simple, so much more matching human psychology and beneficial for all people involved. Okay, maybe consider moving to our side. Okay. got to get those gender roles figured out. I mean, imagine being in a marriage and having to worry about, like, just be yourself, whatever guys. If you are a man and a woman, and a man like enjoys, the woman enjoys like cooking and cleaning, and the man has a stereotypical, like, out, masculine personality, and he's the one who's working, and he's the one who's in charge. If that works for you, do it, but don't do that because it's those are the gender roles. Do it because it matches you and your wife's or significant other's personalities. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having those, traditional family setting, if it matches your personality. But don't do it because those are the God-given gender roles. Like, don't do it. Don't be like, oh yeah, I want to clean the dishes. Let's say like you're a man, you enjoy washing the dishes. I don't know, maybe like you enjoy like changing the diaper of your baby. You like it. You want to do that. Okay. Don't be like, I'm not going to do that because that's not gender. Let's say you're a man that enjoys knitting. I don't know, you enjoy knitting. You're like, oh, that's not gender. This is not I'm supposed to be a man. I'm supposed to be a man. Okay. If you like the things that are traditionally masculine, don't do those things that are traditionally masculine. If there are things that are not traditionally masculine and you like those things, just do those things. You do you. Guys, yes, just be yourself. Is this so hard to understand? Just do what you like. Just have the roles that you enjoy the most. Don't let the wokey leftists say that if you're a man and being masculine, that's toxic, and that if your wife is like cooking dinner for you, that's like horrible. Oh, you're being so horrible. If you both enjoy that, just enjoy it. But if you enjoy cooking for your wife, if that's your thing, then be that. Just do that. Do whatever you like. Find something that works for both of you and just be that way. It's not hard. This is not rocket science. God damn it.
Trust me.
No.
New
Don't.
rule, ladies. You're no longer allowed to take into consideration a guy's financial status, his salary, his car, his house, whether he even has a job or not. The only thing that you can consider for marriage is his heart and his character. That's the only thing. Don't bother looking at how much money the man makes. If it's six figures.
Oh, wait. I think I know what's happening here. Okay. I think this might be his only base video. Okay. Because I think he's like, yeah, I might agree with this. Okay. So I think he is responding to the criticism of people saying that you shouldn't care about, yeah, Susanna is like, he's being ironic. Yeah. No, guys, and he's not being serious. Guys, really, you guys cannot tell by the tone that he's not being serious? Come on, guys. I think what he's responding to is like the criticism that men should not care about the way a woman looks. They should only care about the beauty within, the kindness of her heart, her character, and all of that, how smart she is. Her beauty doesn't matter, which is absolute horse crap. Obviously, at least for most people, the beauty matters. In fact, I would argue for most men, it matters more than almost anything else. Well, close to as it's high up there. Okay, it might not be the number one thing, but it's really high up there. Okay, so, and it's ridiculous. We will not, dear men in the live chat, I will protect you. I would not let other people shame you for this. Okay, if the looks matter to you, that's completely okay. Okay, if anybody comes complaining to you, come back, say Armin said is okay. All right, it's a high priority. The looks of the people who you want to be, it's one of the highest, most important things we care about. Okay, and that's okay. Anybody who tells you that it's not okay, tell them to F off. Armin said it's okay. All right. And if that's what he's responding to, and on this video, I completely agree with Daniel. Okay, I completely agree with Daniel. Let me see if this is what this is about. Actually, I don't even know if this is what this is about. Hold on.
If it's 4 figures, that's not really relevant. Are you going to accept that, ladies, this new rule? Or are you going to protest and whine about it? Well, if you're going to whine about it, then don't whine when guys say that they consider sexual history when they're...
Oh no! Oh no! 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 I thought this was about caring about looks. It's not. It's about caring about sexual history. Oh God damn it! You know what? I do care about sexual history. I want them to have experience.
considering a potential wife for a relationship.
Oh no. So this is Muslim women complaining. Okay, so this is about Muslim women complaining about why men care about my sexual history. They shouldn't care about my sexual history. And he's saying, okay, if we don't get to care about your sexual history, this went south really fast. I thought he's gonna make a good point for a change, okay? I really thought that this is gonna go better. I was gonna be like, here's me giving you an example for agreeing with Daniel. No, so he's telling Muslim women that if we don't get to complain about your sexual history, if that's a metric that we shouldn't care about, then you don't get to care about our, wealth and finances and other stuff that I don't know what you mentioned, right? Damn it, guys. You want you okay? You need women that have history. Okay, it's a lot better. It's so much better. Okay, it's so much better if she knows what's happening and she knows what to do. Okay, don't get caught up over like, but who was this other guy that you were like? Who gives a crap? Just enjoy your time. Jesus Christ. I want to whine. No, that is like you still agree with him now. I thought it was going in a different way. I thought he's gonna say that we get to care about the way you look. I was like, yeah, we do, but yeah, no. When it comes to sexual history, it's completely the opposite of his standards. Jackknife is saying, I mean, if she has a high body count, isn't that a red flag? Why is this okay? Here's my comeback to this. Why is this not a standard for men? Look at this video, right? Why is it that when men are very experienced, it's not looked down upon the way women having a lot of experience? This is complete double standard, okay? I just went from like being fully men's right now to being a feminist, okay? Like I look at me now. Hey, I'm protecting men and women in my community. Yeah, women. This is completely biased against women. This is one thing that is extremely biased against women. When men get to have a lot of experience, they're like players. Are like, oh, look at him! Wow, look at all these women he gets to be with. Like the word used for a man who gets around is player. It's a positive word. Okay, the word used for women getting around a lot is slut, which is a negative word. Like you can see even in Western societies, the double standard, the player versus slut, right? Obviously, like why is that a positive for men and a negative for women? It's just complete double standard. And even in this video that we just watched, you can see that it's a double standard because he's not saying, look, you can see that there's double standard he knows that the double standard exists even within his community, because he doesn't say that, hey, if we don't get to complain about your history, you also shouldn't criticize our history, because nobody does. You see what I'm saying? He's comparing men worrying about the woman's sexual history. He's comparing that to women caring about your finances. He's not comparing that to women or others caring about the men's sexual history, because that is not an issue. People don't see that as a negative. Even within the Ummah, even within the Islamic community, it's not as bad. Even if people say, well, that's bad as well. Really? not as bad as women having a sexual history. Like even within traditional societies who are like, oh no, we have the same standards. Women should be sleeping around, men shouldn't be sleeping around. It's equal. Sure. The way you come down on women, the way that women are attacked and demonized and chastised, the way that they are, the mental hell they have to go through for even the mere suggestion that they may have winked at somebody or had kissed somebody, the hell that they put them through is not even remotely close to a man having had like multiple sexual partners. It's not even remotely close. That's why his comparison has to be finances with sexual history rather than comparing men's sexual history with women's sexual history. Yeah. Preach, Armin Baba, preach. I'm going to build a temple for Armin. Wow, send me some pictures. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is actually interesting. Dolly is saying because people like Daniel think if woman has sexual experience, she will get infections because Allah created women in different. Yeah, guys. So here's the thing: getting sexual diseases and infections and stuff like that has to be dealt with learning things properly, doing things, sexual education. The thing that these people are against. That's how you stop the spread of disease. Sexual education. Learning the right way to do this, okay? Because if these people pretend that this is about sexual disease, okay? Because if it was about sexual disease, they would be condemning it with men as aggressively as they condemn it with women. The sexual disease, that's an excuse. This is more about owning women, controlling women. This is not about stopping the spread of disease. Okay, this is not a health issue. This is a controlling woman issue. Okay, you can see that based on the bias. Oh yeah, well, Soha is giving us some interesting hadith. Soha is saying that we have a hadith that says woman gets married. Is this a Sahih hadith or like one of those minor hadiths? Saying woman gets married for 4 things: her wealth, lineage, beauty, and religion. That's a very Muhammadian look, marrying a woman for her wealth. That's like, is that hadith specifically about Muhammad marrying Khadija? Because Khadija chose Muhammad way. I don't understand. Maybe he got so much benefit out of marrying Khadija, he's like that he wanted that to be an option. Anyways. Yes, exactly. It's not about diseases, it's about power.
No more double standards, okay?
No more double standards, okay? Okay, sure. If it's no more double standards, then men don't get to have 4 wives, according to your. No more double standards. Okay, women get to really now. The person that believes in Islam is saying no more double standards between men and women. Wow, the hypocrisy! It just hit me. It took you a few seconds for me to hit me. The man that believes in Islam, it says no more double standards between men and women. Are you sure about Daniel? Are you sure you want to endorse that? Because that goes against the Quran. No more double standards? Are you serious? What happened to women getting half the inheritance compared to men? No more double standards. What happened to women's testimony being worth half of men? These are not even hadiths. These are Quranic verses. No more double standards? Are you sure about that? You just rejected your own religion. What happened to men being able to marry four wives, but women not being able to marry 4 husbands? Wow, no more. Yeah, exactly. No more double standard. God damn it. And unbelievable. The level of self-awareness here is like, how many more videos do we have? Are we almost? Okay, let's watch these.
A lot of people asking me about.
Oh no, these people. The Ummah has discovered red pill, and this is like a. This is not gonna go well, people. The Ummah has recently discovered what red pill means, and they love it. They're like, oh my God, we have so much in common with with far right nationalists. This is so telling. All right. Here's the thing: historically, communists and Islam always seem to get along. Okay, for some absolutely bizarre reason, especially in the Middle East, communists and Muslims always work with each other, and they help each other get into power until they realize, oh crap, we're supposed to hate each other. Eventually, when the communists put the Islamists in charge or vice versa, they end up regretting it and like, what have we done? But it keeps happening. And it never makes any sense. Their ideas don't match, right? Far lefty people and Islam, these are different ideologies, but for some reason they always support each other. Historically, it has been like that. Now, all of a sudden, they found out who they should be actually working with. They have fallen in love. Like, oh my God, it's the right-leaning people. It's the far rightists. This is the true love that we were always looking for. This is now, and it's going both ways. Like white ethno-nationalists, they're looking into Islam and like, this is actually based. We like this. They're going around and saying, Islam is right about women. They're like endorsing it. Like they far right nationalists are openly, like they're not even hiding it. They're like, Islam is actually kind of based. Maybe this is why they're winning, right? So a lot of far right nationalists are endorsing Islam and actually thinking like, we need to act more like Muslims do, because that's how you win. And now Muslims are also returning the love. A lot of Muslims are like, what is this stuff? This is like, we know criticizing modernity. You know who criticizes? I know why. I actually know why Muslims sometimes work with communists and vice versa, because they both hate modernity. They both hate Enlightenment values. They both hate liberalism. All right. So that's why sometimes they work with each other, even though they completely disagree with each other. They're like, we both hate liberalism and Enlightenment values, right? We could unite in that. But now Muslims have discovered that the better enemies of liberalism, the better enemies of Enlightenment values are far right nationalists and right-leaning people, because not only they are against modernity, not only they're against liberalism, not only they're against Enlightenment values, they're also conservative. They also, unlike the commies, they actually believe in traditional gender roles. They actually believe, and they're actually big homophobes like us, right? They're actually they're transphobic. The commies are not transphobic. They're homophobic. The commies are not homophobic. They believe in traditional gender roles and man's role in the family and the woman's role in society, to just shut up and make us a sandwich and all of that beautiful stuff, right? So this is far better. Who needs a commie when you have these right-leaning people, right? So this is a better ally to go against modernity with than the commies. And, so this is what Daniel is prescribing as well. It's like, hey, the Republic, this is why Daniel comes out and says, I don't understand why in the United States, Muslims have joined the Democratic Party. He's like, it's the Republican Party that is closer to us Muslims, not the Democratic Party. They're the conservatives. He's like, look at look at in Texas, people are actually defending family values and blah, 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 and all that stuff. He's endorsing them. He's on their side. So he thinks that the liberal Muslims in the United States that are in bed with the Democrats, they've got it wrong. The Republicans are a lot closer, and this is why he wants to ally. He wants to ally with Christians. He wants to tell the Christians and the Jewish people that, look, we might be having different religions, but modernity is coming from all of us. That Islam has learned that it needs to stand strong against modernity. But you Christians and Jews and Hindus, you're cucking into modernity. But you should come and become fundamentalists like me. It's okay if you're a Christian. Just be a fundamentalist one and be in my army of fighting against modernity and liberalism. That's what he wants them to do. He wants all the religious people of whatever religion to unite against the forces of modernity. But you will lose, Daniel. Modernity is coming for you. This red pill stuff, by the way, this whole red pill nonsense is old. You guys have caught on it late. Okay? This is cringe. Red pill used to be like the thing, right? Now it's like kind of cringy. Okay? The movie Red Pill is still good. Okay? It's an unfortunate name for the movie, but this whole red pill movement is like, it's so, I don't know how many years has it been. It's like it's not a thing anymore. It's cringe. If you're like, I'm red pill, it's kind of cringe.
This red pill.
Okay, hold on.
Asking me about this red pill movement. Red pill is basically a critique of feminism and liberalism. Are there things that conflict with Islam? Yes. Can Muslims use these red pill arguments? Yes, in some cases, that's fine. Let me give you an analogy. There's a famous biblical academic named Bart Ehrman who critiques the historical authenticity of the Bible and claims that the Bible has been changed over time.
Yes.
Can Muslims use the arguments of Bart Ehrman? Yes, in fact, many du'at have.
Oh, you spoke too soon. Bart Ehrman actually, doesn't Bart? Okay, actually, he might say it doesn't matter. We could use Bart Ehrman, even though Bart Ehrman is against, endorsing Islam and Islamic values or Islamic views on God as well, as Muhammad Hijab recently discovered. But he will say it doesn't matter. We could just use his argument. So his argument is like, just like we could use Bart Ehrman's analysis on the Bible to attack Christianity, even though we don't completely agree with Bart Ehrman, given that he's an atheist, it's okay. We could pick and choose. And he says, like, we could also, with the whole red pill movement, there are things that we don't like, because with this whole red pill, like, the people who say words like this also believe in like pickup lines and how to get women and how to like. So that's obviously not Islamic. So he says it's okay. We could just use their attacks on modernity and leave out the rest. Okay. However, but at least when it comes to the Bart Ehrman thing, it's very interesting, because if you endorse Bart Ehrman's attack on Christianity to show academically why the Bible has been changed, right? If you endorse that methodology, you're not going to like the results of that methodology being used on Islam and the Quran. Okay, because Bart Ehrman is not going to spend his time working on the Quran, but that methodology will eventually, get more and more common when it comes to when it gets used on the Quran and the Hadith, and there will be not much of your religion once the academics are done with it, right? So be careful what you're endorsing. You're not going to like the results.
Have used his arguments and cite him. Is there a problem?
Look at this idiot. Oh my God. West is supposedly not homophobic. General Zukov, did you not just say here that we're talking about Westerners, right-leaning Westerners being homophobic? What are you talking about? We're talking about Westerners being homophobic. Are you an idiot? Are you like, did you not just hear what we said? We were talking about Muslims, some Muslims like Daniel Haqiqatjou, finding people in the West that are homophobic to unite with. Like, are you listening? Or do you have make those neurons fire a little bit? I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, am I misunderstanding what you think? You got us? You think when we're attacking Daniel Haqiqatjou and his ideology, saying it's homophobic, that we're saying that West doesn't have homophobia? Do you think that right after we said that right-leaning people in the West are homophobic? Like, not all of hashtag not all. Like, they have a homophobia problem. Like, right? Like, are you capable of actually paying attention to what we're saying? You are not very smart. You're not very intelligent. Maybe like work on that. Maybe stop being so dumb. Try that.
with that? No, I think whatever is right and correct about his arguments, you can use. Same thing with the red pill movement. Whatever is correct and does not conflict with Islam, why can't we use that? Just take the good, leave the bad, and don't subscribe to this ideology wholesale. And you should
This is going to backfire. I like it. Yeah, keep introducing people to actually academic ways of criticizing religion. I want more Muslims to be more versed into academically finding the academic ways of how Christianity is being destroyed. I want them to be familiar with that. So when they realize how that works, they recognize us when we use the same tactic to go after Islam.
be fine. Time to speak truth to power, guys. I'm a proud, unapologetic Muslim, and I just want to say one thing to all you haters out there. Everything that the federal government and Joe Biden says is absolutely true. Everything that the Democratic Party says is absolutely true. That's what it means to speak truth to power. Subscribe to my channel and make sure to donate through Patreon.
Okay, so he's obviously making. See, I told you he doesn't like the Muslims who are in bed with the Democratic Party, right? He thinks that it's so cringe for Muslims to be endorsing the Democratic Party and Biden and all. The fact that they're working with each other, he hates that. But this is a straw man. Obviously, the Muslims that are working with the Democratic Party, they're mostly progressive. So not mostly, a lot of them are progressive. So the ones that are progressive would not be on Biden's side. Like, I don't, maybe like don't strawman what the guys. I'm actually now defending Muslims that are within the Democratic Party. Okay, because he's misrepresenting them. Okay. Obviously, they don't say we agree with everything that the Democratic Party says just because they're working with them, just because they're allying with them, just because they're a member of it. Many Muslims within the Democratic Party are progressives. Have you heard how many progressives have you heard say that I agree with everything Biden says? Like, are you serious? That is the opposite of what they say. That is the opposite of what they say. They're like, we had to vote for Biden because he was better than Trump, but we hate him because we're progressives and not liberals. What is this? This is such a straw man.
Unapologetic Muslim, and I just want to say one thing to all you.
When he says I'm an unapologetic Muslim, he's kind of suggesting that it's a contradiction. You know what I mean? What he's saying is that you cannot. You're like, oh, you're proud of being a Muslim, and yet you're supporting American Democratic Party. Like, he's kind of like making light of it by saying, like, you cannot be you cannot be seriously considering yourself, a really good. And I don't want to say that he's takfiring them, but I want to say that he thinks it's ironic that you consider yourself an unapologetic Muslim, and yet you're endorsing the Democratic Party.
Power, guys. I'm a proud, unapologetic Muslim, and I just want to say one thing to all you haters out there. Everything that the federal government and Joe Biden says is absolutely true. Everything that the Democratic Party says is absolutely true. That's what it means to speak truth to power.
Sure.
Subscribe to my channel and make sure to donate through Patreon. What distinguishes Muslim marriages is that they're very strong and stable. What is one?
Wait, I'm gonna head out, but before I go, I wanna search for something. Red pill. Yeah.
The reason why.
So. Okay, so you saw how, what Daniel Haqiqatjou's view on being red pilled was, right? Muhammad Hijab kind of responded. This is like, I don't know if you guys know, but this whole red pill is like picking up in the Muslim community. They like the fact that it's anti-feminist. They like the fact that it has that movement is in support of traditional gender roles and homophobic and transphobic. They like it, right? They like the fact that it's attacking modernity. So a lot of Muslims, they see how much more advanced the right-leaning people are when it comes to attacking. With like, they see their arguments, they want to borrow it, they want to like join it. They're like, yes, we're against all of that as well, right? And I think the marketing, because that whole red pill movement have gone through years of finding the best narratives, the best ways of gaining followers and supporters, and the ummah doesn't have, is not as sophisticated. Like even like Daniel Haqiqatjou, for example, when he attacks modernity, you can see that he's studying like years of other people's non-Muslims attacking modernity and Enlightenment values, and he's relying on those other arguments because Islam inherently doesn't have any weapons against the forces of modernity. You have to borrow, I don't know, far lefty people and far righty people and everybody else, their attack on modernity. You have to borrow those. So a lot of and that's what Daniel does. Daniel doesn't have anything. There's nothing in the Quran or Hadith that tells you how to attack Enlightenment values. They pretend like Enlightenment values are Islam is the greatest weapon. Yeah, this is actually very interesting. Pay attention to this. They pretend that the greatest force against Enlightenment values and modernity is Islam, but yet they don't have anything in the Quran or the Hadith that they could use against Enlightenment values. They have to go and read modern thinkers who were against modernity and Enlightenment values and use their argument because they have nothing in Islam, right? So, and Daniel, every time you hear one of his debates or watch his videos, when you see him attack modernity, you could tell these are, you could see exactly the arguments being used is by modern thinkers, right? You could see like, oh my God, he got that from leftists. He got that from the communists. He got that from, I don't know, right-leaning, far-right people. This is the arguments from, the far right-leaning people or ethno-nationalists, right? You can see that. He keeps borrowing from each one. And that is very interesting because the attacks that the ethno-nationalists, for example, have on modernity is completely different from the attack that the far lefty people do. But when it comes to the Muslims who are attacking modernity, they're using both. And you can see like, oh my God, like this is a far lefty argument used right next to a far righty argument against modernity, but they don't mind. They're happy to use them both. And it makes sense for Daniel Haqiqatjou to endorse Muslims looking more into people who are talking about red pill and being red pill Muslims, right? Muhammad Hijab, on the other hand, is against that. And here, this is his argument. He's like trying to say, like, guys, we have Islam. Why are you going to other people's arguments?
Red pill Muslims, the reason why red pill Muslims, those who associate with the red pill or are influenced by it, are a shame on the Muslim community and an embarrassment to themselves is because they have no problem attacking Muslim feminists on the basis that they oppose the Quran and Sunnah on so many of the injunctions that they have or attitudes that they may have. But red pill undoubtedly does the same thing in the commodification, the objectification of women.
Ooh, okay. So he said, like, okay, how could you? Basically, he's kind of right. Like, if you look at the people within like the red pill community, the way they look at women is disgusting, right? And he's like, this is what you want to endorse. However, that's rich coming from somebody who endorses Islam, because these people are saying like, oh, they're commodifying women, right? Islam literally commodifies women. We're talking about an ideology that takes women as slaves, as sex slaves, and they say, and they're criticizing other ideas that figuratively commodifies women, and they criticizing it while endorsing an ideology that literally commodifies women.
The telling of men to have intercourse as much as possible, pick up artist tricks, moral decadence, in the encouragement of diatha, telling your wife to do what she wants to do, or your woman, so you don't feel jealous, she doesn't see that she feels like these kinds of things, completely against the Quran and Sunnah. Yet you want to associate yourself with that movement. Why not just associate yourself with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the perfect man? He'll teach you how to be a man who had 9 wives at the same time, kept them all happy, and fought the Romans in the afternoon.
That was funny. You're like, why do you need red pill? We have Muhammad. You just follow Muhammad. He he kept his wives happy. And I mean, I don't know what their version of happy is. I would assume that having some consent matters when it comes to satisfying your wives. But he's like, he also fought the Romans in the afternoon. And he lost. Okay, like the battles against the Romans didn't go as well during Muhammad's time. Like, I don't know why you want to endorse that. The battle against the Roman went a lot better after Muhammad's death. So I don't think that's something you want to bring attention to. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm gonna go. Thank you, everybody. Let me know if you like this format, if that was good, if you enjoyed it, and make sure you like the video before you go. Make sure you think don't go. If you haven't liked this video, you can't go. You are not allowed to leave unless you like this video. No, see you later. I mean, no, you don't go. Nope, everyone stay. Everybody stay right now. Everybody stay and guys, we need the likes for us to be able to grow this channel. Nobody's going anywhere. No, you're saying bye. Great stream, lots of fun. Are you guys? Can you confirm that you have liked this video before you're leaving? Can everybody confirm that you have liked this video before leaving? Okay, bye. Already right. Okay, good. I did. Can go. Okay, good. You can leave now. You're allowed to leave. You're allowed to leave because you liked. Okay, good job. Thank you. Bye.